Ultrakill is a game that's been taking over Steam by storm. It was able to hop on the train of style-type games where the real challenge isn't the level itself, but completing the level using its various combos and tools. The two big ones that were to start off these were games like the new Doom, where it felt exhilarating to play, to get thrown into a room of enemies, and to use all of your tools at your disposal. Then we have DMC5, where that game throws you into a room of monsters, but instead of running around, shooting and blasting, you're pulling off magnificent combos with a diverse set of characters that always feels fresh and exhilarating. The feeling of getting a cool clip or pulling off that combo that you spent 30 minutes in the training ground for isn't something describable. The best way I can put it is an immense feeling of satisfaction. The genre of these games have been really popular for the last 7-ish years, but its roots go all the way back to Hotline Miami, Bayonetta, and the original Devil May Cry. This style of game has been constantly improved, worked on, optimized, and revolutionized over and over, and I like to see Ultrakill as its love baby amalgamation. It's the culmination of style games. Without the games before it, Ultrakill could never exist. It's even in the marketing. The game calls itself Devil May Quake. The real question is, though, is it even good?
Machine, turn back now. Turn back, or you will be crossing the will of God. Machine, I will cut you down, break you apart, splay the gore of your profane form across the stars. My hands shall relish, ending you here and now!
Yes it is, very much so. And I would say that it's better than 90% of the games that we are currently getting. It is a slap in the face to the current unpassionate, unfinished, unenthusiastic game design that we keep repeatedly getting over and over and over, and it's not even being made by a large company. The game is constantly driven with passion, has a strong community, and isn't even fully out yet, and it's already one of the highest rated games on Steam. Let's start with a quick overview if you don't actually know what Ultrakill is though. You play as V1, a robot sent from somewhere that has been tasked with going down the layers of hell and destroying each and every one of them. You will travel through factories, cyberpunk cities, each and every location completely different from the last as you continue to face more and more deadlier foes ranging from husks to machines to even angels sent down from heaven. With its high-octane gameplay, causing you to dash and maneuver your way through the groups of enemies, you have plenty of weapons at your disposal. Switching between them determining on what position you're in, shooting coins up in the air, ricocheting them into enemies, filling them up with 10,000 bullets, or piercing them with an electrifying beam. It suits into every playstyle for every person. As you play through the game, as your playstyle and game sense evolves, the game does as well, throwing you harder enemies and obstacles, pushing your limits as a player. Combined with the rocking OST and the urge to push your high scores further and further with combos, really makes this game exhilarating. All of this satisfaction and excellent gameplay is backed by very nice and fulfilling lore that is hidden in the secrets of the game. Overall, the game is just really finely built and a must-play game on Steam. Why is this important though? I could be talking about any other game. Why this one? Because I think this is a game that other developers need to look at and learn from. Recently, video games have been disappointing, to say the least. They feel cash grabby, they don't exist because someone wants it to, they exist because the company wants money. Nothing feels very inspired anymore, just a hollow disappointment that I was already expecting. It's missing that passion, that drive. Ultrakill is living proof that there is a large difference from a game that has passion to a game that doesn't. That passion is having a strong idea in your head, wanting to make it, and not settling for mediocrity. That type of passion we only see in indie games nowadays, and that's not how it should be. Hakita, the main man behind the game, has been working on it for years, progressing it more and more, just adding ideas and mechanics to the game that he thinks is fun. He's making the game because he really enjoys it and believes in it, not just to make money. I get that people have to pay the bills, but video game companies should encourage passion because it makes a clear difference. The next thing is that Ultrakill puts its fun into the player's hands and just gently pushes them to the end. Thousands of people will play a video game, each one with a different playstyle and expectation in their head. Ultrakill caters to the masses by not making a hard moveset, meaning hard in two different ways. The first being it's very easy to learn the moveset and controls, but the second and more important one is that it's not stuck in its ways. It's very freeform. I like to look at Ultrakill as being a large sandbox with various tools and toys at your disposal. There's no definitive right way to play the game. It teaches you the basic mechanics and then just sets you loose. You can use only one gun, you can try them all, you can be jumpy and dashy, or stay down to earth. Each level is like a puzzle that has 1,000 different ways of completing. The only thing the game does is, after you use a gun for a while, you start to get less points with it, encouraging you to try out different guns and make your gameplay have a bit more variety. The nice thing is though, the score doesn't matter unless you're trying to go for a high rank. It never punishes you the way you want to play. This is because the game is built around one concept, the combat, and makes sure it's the best it could possibly be. It doesn't try to dabble in everything, it makes sure the main part of the game is perfected, and then after it's perfected, to start dabbling in everything else like lore, graphics, etc. The gameplay is very easy to pick up, and tells you everything you need to know in the first 2 levels. It's basic WASD controls, normal aiming, basic FPS controls. The unique mechanics are parrying, you can parry back attacks and bullets restoring your health, and you're not able to regain health unless you parry or you soak in the blood of your enemies. You can slide and dash with a simple stamina system, and each gun has a fire right click and ability left click. Fairly simple, and that's the best way a video game can be. It takes the ideas of giving you a simple concept, and then keeps building upon them and introducing different ways to use them. You thought you could only parry enemy bullets? What happens if you get a grappling hook? You don't only have to use the pistol to ricochet off of coins. The player will find out these mechanics and much more just by playing the game, because it never explicitly tells you. The player will progress by trying out different ways to beat a level, and in turn, learn new skills and strategies they can add to their arsenal. Most games now like to lock off mechanics or neuter the character in sense of progression, which is fine, but I think lately it has been very limiting. A game will give you a new ability or unlock, but then you only use it for a certain area, or the ability doesn't really work to your liking. It feels really rigid and awkward. Sometimes games do this very well, where it's this big new mechanic such as a new moveset, combo, or ability, but usually it's just a MacGuffin that doesn't feel great. It allows the player to get better through experience of playing the game, and the difficulty of the game makes sure it goes along with the player. I see this concept very little outside of Souls-like games. I don't understand why that idea can't be brought further. The player doesn't have to have a significant power-up to go against harder enemies. If your combat system is nicely built, the player should just be getting better while playing it, making them able to fight more difficult and complex enemies. The weapon variety is also very fluid, where the player can use them in a variety of ways. Currently there are pistols, shotguns, miniguns, railguns, and rocket launchers, as well as different melees. Each weapon has at least 2 variants, with each weapon having an alternate fire. You can equip and dequip at will, where you can either have all of the weapons or master of one. If you prefer to play longer range, you have all the pistols and nail guns. If you want to pull off wacky combos, you can use my personal favorite gun, the coin gun. The coin gun is actually what I like to think is a pretty accurate way of describing Ultrakill. It's a simple pistol where its alternate fire is throwing a coin up in the air. Shooting the coin makes it ricochet to a nearby enemy, dealing extra damage. It rewards extra skill with some extra damage, but is completely optional and you can always stick with the other pistol. It's these cool basic ideas that Ultrakill is able to build around though. These little things that you could never have thought of that just enhance the experience. From little Easter eggs to unique lore to new mechanics, where these mechanics may only be for a level or two, but they are still thought out to completion. After the first main act in the game, I thought to myself that the game didn't need to add more. As long as it kept giving me location and enemy variety, I would have been completely content. The game continues to keep spicing up the gameplay though, by introducing new elements that make you think differently each level, where you never get into that laxed mindset where the game starts to feel boring and repetitive. I think that's another thing that games need to learn. Earlier I was talking about how you have to have a strong core gameplay loop, whether it be a strong story, a strong narrative device, etc. You then have to entertain the player because we as humans get bored by seeing the same thing for more than 5 minutes at a time. This can be a flip of the rules, a little mechanic just for a level, or just a certain enemy that's unique, where you have to think differently, since that's the goal of any of this anyways, is to get the player's mind thinking and engaged again. Now you may be asking, didn't you say that trying to dabble into everything was a bad idea? Well yeah, but that's not quite this. Dabbling in everything is what Skyrim did, where it stretched its resources too thin where nothing was ever standout. What I'm trying to say here is to make a really good base, an amazing base, and then start to add in your fix-ins where every bite is unique and different from the last. Ultrakill is currently 2 out of the 3 acts done, with those 2 acts 99% complete, where if you told someone that the game wasn't in full access yet, they would never realize. Let's take a moment and go away from the main story and start talking about the side content. In any game, the main story should be the player's main focus, but for the player to digest and take a break from the main story, they need some other content to fill them. This could be exploring the world, doing side quests, or just screwing around. But for Ultrakill, it's in the form of replayability. You're able to go back into previous levels and either do 3 things. The first is you can go back and try to get a higher score after you've gotten better or some different gear. You can do the specific challenge that is related to the level, or you can get the various secrets that are hidden in each level. One of the biggest gimmicks I hate in video games is going back to a past area when nothing has changed in the slightest. It's boring, monotonous, and the reward usually isn't even that good. Ultrakill does in a way to make it feel very rewarding. It's never boring or monotonous, unlike in other games where you're just solving the same puzzle, or just walking through a barren wasteland of already dead enemies. It goes back to its initial gameplay structure, where every room is a puzzle that can be solved in thousands of ways. This is combined with the fact that you are now better, with new guns. It feels like playing something completely different as you are now ranking up combos, a super high score, and it feels like a completely different experience as you're destroying the foes that once crushed you. The secrets is where it's really at, in my opinion. I like to think that Ultrakill is broken up in 2 different parts. The first is going through the main story, gaining new weapons, mechanics, fighting new bosses, while the second is revisiting levels and perfecting them to get that P rank and secret finding. Most secrets are finding these blue orbs that unlock different skins for your guns. They're cool, but nothing special. I want to talk about the Ultra secrets though. These secrets are little areas in the game, or fully fledged out levels that are completely different from the actual content. They're breaths of fresh air that either shed light on the lore or are just some goofy fun. These can go from secret boss fights, to new weapons, to an anime spoof that made me cry. Side quests in most games are just not thought out missions that serve for XP gain. I see it very rarely that a game actually puts thought into their side quests as a break from the main story, but still very interesting. This allows the game to never get slogged down. If you're getting a bit too overwhelmed with the main story, you're able to take a break and do other objectives, but they're never required. It goes back to the idea that your game should be able to play by anyone. People who enjoy taking breaks frequently, people who just want to grind out the story right away, Mix of both, the overachievers, the stuck in their ways, Ultrakill is able to be played by anyone. Overall, Ultrakill succeeds because it pays respect to the games before it, the game itself, and the players. Its main focus doesn't seem to be making money, it seems to be making a good product, a fun product. Although there isn't a strict story, which may turn off some, the gameplay itself is very accessible and enjoyable. It's just a real shame that this kind of quality games only come out of indie developers now, because it's literally their lifeblood and passion. I won't say that newer games are completely devoid of passion, but I just feel lately the quality and standards of games have gone down dramatically where there's DLC on launch, the game's half finished, barely playable, and doesn't feel like it was made for a reason besides money. I'm looking at you, Nintendo. If you haven't played Ultrakill, I highly suggest it. It will feel like a fresh air from whatever you are currently playing. It is a purely gameplay based game, but I truly think that anyone can have fun with it. And you might as well get it now when it's $25, because when Act 3 drops, the price will increase. I really hope in the future AAA titles will learn something from highly successful games like Ultrakill, who are only made by a team of a couple people. Game companies just need to realize one fact. A larger budget does not make it a better game. Ultrakill has very simplistic graphics. It is the well thought out world, gameplay, and passion put into it that makes the players enjoy it. Wow, thank you so much for watching. I know it was a long one, but it was a good one. If you don't mind subscribing, that would be great.